human mirror on eco isles. On the right side of the map, in the color blue, we have look around, also known as Hawk, while on the left side of the map, with the dark blue color, we have Thegreatwall. Okay, so actually there was some kind of bug because it started as blue, now it's red. So standard build order for Hawk, pretty much the same for Thegreatwall. Archmage for Thegreatwall, Archmage for Hawk, so nothing too fancy. Sometimes we might see a Mountain King first instead of the Archmage, but Archmage is like the most common choice in Human Mirror. First Footman, a bit faster for Hawk. Let's see if he sends a hit to Scout. Yes, he does. That's pretty standard as well. I'm curious to see if he's going to creep the Mercamp fast, or maybe if he goes for a fast expansion here with the Militia. The two Scout Footmen are going to meet themselves in the middle of the map. This is another thing that happens very often. And looks like the blue human, the Thegreatwall, is going for the quick Mercamp. So as I expected, both players are creeping this camp first. But you never know really with human, because human is a sneaky race, and some people like to play level 2 Archmage into a Ras instead of going for the level 3, and so you could also creep this camp and then this camp here and then go to a Ras and surprise your opponent while he's trying to creep the expansion. So there is a variety of things that you can do with human, really. And you kinda also always have to scout to know what's going on exactly. So Hawk got his level 2, got his Shadow Priest, he's got 2 Footmen, while the Thegreatwall has got only 1 Footman, so I think he has lost one. And okay, he's got 2, well, Hawk's got 3, plus the Scout Footman here. This is the Scout Footman of the Thegreatwall, but again, I'm noticing that Hawk's got 1 more Footman, and those little details, they do count in Human Mirror, okay? Because it's mirror, so every single unit counts. So if you have, for example, 4 full HP Footmen and your opponent's got only 2 full HP Footmen, or maybe he's got 2 full HP Footmen and 2 hurt Footmen, then you're gonna have the advantage. So you're gonna pay attention while you're creeping. Make sure you don't absorb too much damage. So this is a nice move by the Thegreatwall, grabbing the Boots of Speed and stealing the item from Hawk, who's got, talking about items, he's got the Gloves of Haste, and that's pretty much it. They both have the same mercs, but I'm noticing that the Thegreatwall doesn't have the Shadow Priest, and that's big because you really want to have that extra DPS. That the Shadow Priest does a lot of damage. I mean, the Troll Berserker does a lot of damage. So if you have the Troll Berserker and your opponent doesn't, you're gonna have a lot more damage output per second. So the Great Wall is calling the militias, trying to defend this expansion. Hawk, in the meanwhile, is building his expansion safely. And this is another thing in the human mirror. You always want to be the guy that's pushing while expanding, because this is gonna guarantee that your expansion comes up safely, providing that you don't lose too many units while harassing. But the Great Wall is gonna be able to pull us around here. Let's see if we can keep it close. Yeah, you can't keep it close because Hawk is killing the militia. But now his Archmage is very low HP, so he needs to pay attention. However, with some proper micro, he should be able to sneak out and keep doing damage. In the meanwhile, the Great Wall has purchased the Staff of Teleportation and is able to staff back into the Footman. But let's take a look at the tech. Okay, Steel Tire 1 for the Great Wall, Steel Tire 1 for Hawk. I think like both of them, they don't have wood, but it's a little bit better for Hawk. I think his expansion started faster, his wood income is better, so he's gonna be able to tech faster most likely. You always want to snipe the Shadow Priest in those skirmishes, so Hawk is doing a very good job pulling him back, but losing him nonetheless. But this pullback move that he did on his Shadow Priest will allow him to shoot some extra hits on the Archmage of the Great Wall. And so he can buy a little bit of time here. Oh, miss micro by the Great Wall, losing the second Shadow Priest, that's very bad. Or you could say that's very unfortunate actually, because I'm pretty sure he wasn't looking at it. That's just a miss rally or something like that. But you don't want to lose the Shadow Priest, because now he has no means to heal. He does have a shop, but Shadow Priest is not only good for healing, but is the only thing that can help you to dispel the water elementals, so that's why you buy the Shadow Priest. For healing, yes, but also for dispelling. And now he's lost it. He's lost two of them, I believe. Or maybe just one, I don't know. Whatever. So he still has the Berserker that he just purchased. Everything is all over the place in this game, as it often is in Human Mirror, so it's even not easy to see what's going on. But I think that Hawk's got the best army, because he's got 2 full HP water elementals. He's gonna put a lot of pressure here. He's got a lot of footmen, so the Great Wall is struggling hard. A lot of HP, low HP foodies. Now he's purchasing the Ogre Mauler, which is a great blocker. Will be able to absorb a lot of damage. Mod Golem for some extra slows, and looks like he's holding for the time being. If he can get this kill, it's gonna be big for the player who gets the kill. I like this staff here, but does he really have the mana to cast 2 water elementals? No, he doesn't. I don't think he can achieve too much with just 1 water elemental here. Especially since Hawk is gonna be pushing at the same time. And in all of those skirmishes on the map, when you are trying to push your opponent and your opponent is pushing back, it's very easy to make micro mistakes because you are focused with your attention, you're trying to do damage, but at the same time your opponent is trying to do damage to you, and so your attention needs to be shifted in 2 places. And so the player who's got the best multitasking will usually come on top. Looks like Hawk is trying to defend this with purely with mercs here. He needs to snipe this Troll Berserker though, which is doing a lot of damage to these peasants, but somehow he's not able to finalize a lot of those kills. And let's take a look at the tech. Tier 2 just barely finished for the Thegreatwall. I believe Hawk's already finished. Yeah, he's going Tier 3. His Mountain King is already almost done, so he's gonna have the big advantage here in the mid game. Still no Sanctums though, so he's skipping the Sanctums. He's going for Knight Mortars, I think. I see a Blacksmith, so that's for Knights usually and Mortars. Let's see how the Thegreatwall reacts. He's going for Sanctum, so looks like the Thegreatwall is going for the standard Tier 2 build. While Hawk is rushing Tier 3, and that's because he feels like he's in control of this game. He knows that he's late his opponent, and so he's like, okay, I'm gonna go Tier 3. And keep in mind that Mortars and Knights do a lot of damage to those breakers. Nice bolt, but I don't think he's gonna get the kill here. So the Thegreatwall opted for an Alchemist because his tech was late, he didn't have the time to wait for a Mountain King. While Hawk is playing the Mountain King obviously, and his Archmage is level 5, while the Thegreatwall is stuck at 4, so keep in mind that in mirror games this is a huge difference, because having the big Water Tauren, level 3 Water Elemental, is huge, while your opponent has only got the level 2 Water Elemental. So Hawk is always gonna have the big advantage in those fights, and good luck trying to dispel a Water Tauren with Shadow Priest. That's not gonna work. 900 HP, guys. That's how strong the Water Tauren is. I believe, I'm not sure, but if you try to dispel Water Tauren with Dryads, you need certainly 3 hits, maybe even 4, I think it's 3. But you need a lot of mana, so if you're trying to dispel like Water Taurens with Dryads, good luck with that. Unless you're playing Mass Dryads. If you're playing Mass Dryads, you can do that, but if you have like 4 or 5 Dryads and you're facing level 3 Water Elementals, you are never gonna have enough mana to dispel all of that. And to detonate a level 2 Water Elemental, which is, so Archmage level 3, level 2 Water Elementals, you need 3 Wisps. Because 2 Wisps don't even detonate. Okay, 2 Wisps, I think, detonate the first Water Elemental, but to detonate the level 2 Water Elemental you need 3. And that's why you often see like players losing all of their lumber income trying to detonate level 2 Water Elementals. Because when you are Night Elf, how many Wisps you are going to realistically build? You're going to build like 10. Or you're going to build maybe 11. But let's say you have only 8 and you use 3 of them to dispel a Water Elemental. That's very expensive. Let's say you want to dispel 2 Water Elementals. Now you need 6 Wisps, providing that you don't misclick. because sometimes in a hurry you misclick and you fuck up and you don't really hit the water elemental. So water elementals are very, very, very strong, and I believe really only mass dryads or mass priests with full mana can really counter level 3 water elementals. That's the only thing. Or destroyers, of course. Destroyers are pretty sick, actually. Pretty sick unit, because you can not only you eat the water elementals, but you transform them into mana, giving additional power, giving the orb essentially to the orb of annihilation to the destroyer. So that's a sick unit, and that's why you see all of these humans retraining to Blizzard, because after a certain point in the game the destroyers become totally useless. So Hawk is abusing now is giant water tauren. He's got mortars, is exactly as I predicted. I mean, that's just obvious. And yeah, his build is simply Knight Mortars with Priests. Talking about upgrades, he's got 0-0, so no upgrades. But I don't think he needs that. He doesn't need upgrades in this game, he's way ahead. He just needs to right click this expansion and kill it, essentially. But of course, he needs to get rid of these breakers. He doesn't have... He has only one priest, he's gonna lose it probably. So he doesn't really have anything to dispel the Thegreatwall's water elementals. So he needs to back off a little bit for the time being. But now the Paladin is on the field. And with the Holy Light, his Archmage should be safe. Speaking about upgrades, it's 0-0 for the Thegreatwall as well, and I think as soon as he gets like 2 more knights, he should be ready to go. Hawk. Oh, nice! Wand of Illusion, creating multiple mirror images of the Ogre Mauler. So well played by the Thegreatwall, and this allows him to get enough kills to reach level 5. This is big, but I don't think it will be enough to counter the superior tech. And in fact, he calls for the GG. So yeah, pretty straightforward game with the red human Hawk acquiring the lead in the early game and then essentially taking advantage of that to tech to fast start tree, get knights, get mortars. Getting fast level 5 was huge. In other words, everything working well for Hawk from the beginning of this game. So GG. Now let's take 2 minutes of break and then we're gonna cast the next one.